Cyber Forest, Turbo Cruise 84, and if we go to set 5, or set 7, excuse me, Kairos Junction. Our game is now loading up. Elazer versus Serral starts now in the GSL versus the World Finals.
4, 3, 2, 1. Finals. Match 1.
It all has been coming down to this. In the bottom left here in the blue, the Polish contender. He is
Ego Esports, Elazer.
And that's upright, the reigning champion of this circuit. This is
ENCE Esports, Serral.
It's an absolute honor to be bringing you guys the first 2 games of this grand final, Serral versus Elazer, a match that has happened a lot in the past. And even though Elazer only beat Serral twice, 2 of them were actually very big series. One of them was the finals of a Challenger in 2018, and the other one was a WCS event we were talking about. It wasn't Valencia, but it was Montreal in 2017. So he did defeat Serral at big stages, but I mean, Serral, it almost becomes boring to praise him because we have praised him so freaking much. But the thing is, though, he deserves it. If there's something that we can be negative about or something that we can pick out, we'll gladly do it. But Serral is a sweetheart. Serral is always humble. Serral is funny. Above all, he is just beyond amazing at Starcraft 2.
Whenever I read someone say anywhere, whether it be Twitch chat or forum otherwise, that he's overrated or he wins because his race is OP, my head actually caves in on itself and I need weekend surgery to get it back up to its regular size. It really is one of the dumbest things you will ever read in text formation.
It is amazing to say that, like, this year we feel that he's more beatable than last year. If you look at his 2019, he's like, has Serral been bad this year? You go over all of his results, right? Second place in WCS Winter for almost everybody. That's amazing. For Serral, apparently that's a disappointment. Second place in WCS Summer is like, well, Serral really doesn't have it anymore. He struggles. Once again, anybody else, you would applaud him. Second place at WESG is like, Serral didn't win. No, but he got second again. I think the only somewhat disappointing performance he truly had was maybe the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, where it was a quarter-final. I mean, quarter-final for so many other players. Like, he had a good run, he had a strong showing, and for Serral, that's apparently the absolute worst that he's capable of.
Round of 8 was his worst result this year in all the big hundreds of thousands of dollar tournaments that he's played into this year. So this is a pretty standard, safe opening for both players, a 2.5 minute or roughly their third hatchery for both of them. Let's talk about the game real quick. Exact mirrored builds. Nothing really out of the ordinary here on a Neuropugnancy.
So if Elazer is going to win this entire grand final, I really think it's gonna, like, I know that his late game looked very good and a lot of people be like, damn, you know, he looked fantastic in late game against Dark, and he did, you know, the very late game with the Vipers, he looked great. But do you know who's way, way, way better at it than Elazer is? That's Serral. Like, when it comes to Vipers, he's just the absolute best. And even though he lost that one game against Rainer on Thunderbird a couple weeks ago, even up to that final fight,
he was winning that game.
He was winning that game, and he was playing as beautiful as always. You don't want to play those kind of ZVZs against Serral. If Elazer is going to win it, it's going to be by some tech choices, maybe Mudas when Serral's not aware of it, or just very strong Link Bane play, because I do believe that Elazer has the skills to hold his own in the early stages, and definitely the mid-game as well against Serral, but I wouldn't play too many lurker games and stuff like that.
Serral's getting some Lings out on the map here. Both players have got their Baneling Nest finished up, so we see Elazer making a couple defensive Banes here. Serral splitting a couple Lings up from the pack just to try and sneak past the naturally. You know, Serral is so on point with his scouting, and just like that, straight into the main base with a low hit point. Ling gets a look in, sees that there's no lair just yet, gets a look at the gas saturation as well.
Yeah, starts his own lair immediately, actually, on the right top side, but obviously there is that Baneling Nest, and that can always be used for safety. So far, indeed, still pretty identical, other than the fact that Serral's stacking a bit quicker. There we do see +1 melee, range. I'm expecting to do the same from Elazer, because this is not really a map where you go for upgraded Zerglings. I hope to see some of that in this grand final, maybe on Acropolis or on Thunderbird. I think +1 melee builds are really cool, but I think this is much more of a Roach map.
Always nice to get a Baneling there with that Zergling, so of course small, not too critical. Lair starting up for Elazer, and you're spot on there, Roddy. +1 attack coming out for the ranged units. Elazer going to get into the Roach production soon enough as well.
One thing that is kind of nice is that Serral in general obviously plays very safe, right? Because he's so confident and he knows how freaking good he is in this game that he kind of covers all the checkpoints, but Elazer can probably cut a few more corners here and there and just be a little more greedy. So you shouldn't be surprised in this grand final if you're going to see a team where Elazer often is a couple drones ahead as long as nothing happens. That's just because Serral is trying to cover everything, and Elazer knows if I'm going to be like the most safe version of myself ever, I'm probably not going to win this. So it's more likely that Elazer is going to cut a couple corners here and there and just play a little more greedy, a little more ambitious, and in that way get a tiny bit ahead and then turn it into a real game.
It's both players with 3 bases, 5 gases have been taken, and Serral moving across the map with some slow banelings, a handful of lings as well. Looks like he's just trying to poke, maybe like gut check the defense of Elazer, see if there's any weaknesses.
Yeah, he's making a lot of roaches behind all of this as well. Look at Elazer, by the way. Elazer's up 9 workers, and he's going up to 4 bases quicker than Serral is. Serral seems like he's had enough of it. Maybe he has somehow identified that his opponent is indeed playing a very greedy game. As he drops down the Nidus network, that lair was quite a bit quicker. The +1 range was quicker as well for Serral. Don't forget about that. So Serral is going to try to force a fight while he has +1 and Elazer does not.
So, going to try and decide this one in the mid-game. Elazer trying to get some Dropper-Lord action happening here. We know Dropper-Lords with Roaches have been finding their way back.
That's a scout. That's a scout.
There it is. He sees the Nidus Worm there with that Overseer. Good stuff for Elazer. Going to have to get those Roaches on the edge of those creeps to make sure nothing happens to the main base.
Yep.
It's going to be right at the front here.
Very smart by Elazer to immediately cancel his Dropper-Lord plans and keep the units at home. He's going to use his Banelings on the Nidus network, so at least he's going to buy some time for himself there. Elazer gets his own +1. He accidentally picks up a couple of his own Roaches.
He could put some of the hurt ones up in there like a Warp Prism, I guess, but that's a little bit tricky. It is kind of working, though. Elazer, nice juggling there. Serral can reinforce right in front of him, though, with that Nidus Worm. He's still holding this line. Elazer with the Queens, really helping himself out there in the defense. Yeah, Serral still with so many more Roaches.
Yeah, the reinforcements are about to show up. Elazer has a lot of units in production, and if all of these units show up, I actually think Elazer should be fine here. That fight obviously went quite good because of all the Queens he had there as well. A couple drones. Whoa!
When did that happen? I didn't even see that at all. The Nidus going into the main base. Serral inside. The lair here of Elazer getting on those drones. 7 of them have gone down. Not the massive drone lead for Serral, though. He needs to do this damage. And a Roach run by the third at the same time. Serral everywhere at once, it seems.
Yep, and he still has a lot of Roaches in the main base. He's winning the fight in the main base. That's massive. GG. Just like that. Serral gets the 1-0 lead here.
7 and a bit minutes. And we're already a map into the series here with Serral. Ion Nasatala getting himself a point on the board.
It felt like the initial fight wasn't even that bad for Elazer, right? Like, I know he was down on the Roaches, but he had the Queens there. He was dropping the transfusions, using the Dropper-Lord. I think it was really cool. It's just the Nidus in the main seemed to really caught him off guard.
And that's, I was mentioning it there when the Nidus Worm comes up. You got to make sure that it doesn't get into your main, because that feels like the knockout punch. Like, yeah, you can take a few glancing blows from the outside. You can always push them back from your choke points at the third and at the natural, especially on that high ground. But the main is just different.
Almost a little bit of a reality check as well, where Serral's like, hey, you might be greedy, but if I were you, I wouldn't be too greedy in this grand finals, because if you get too carried away, I will punish you.
All right, well, we are just about to get into the second game here. It is going to be on Thunderbird, a nice big map here, but of course some people like to play against the image of the map and try and catch their opponents with their pants down. We've seen some 12 pulls on this map, of course. Will that happen again, and who will do it? I don't know, man. Who's gonna drop the first 12 pull in the series if we see a 12 pull, do you think, Roddy?
Maybe on some of the smaller maps. I wouldn't be shocked if Elazer tries to do it. But for now, let's get ready for the big map on Thunderbird.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the top left here, currently down in the series, hailing from Poland, he is...
Ego Esports, Elazer.
Such a fantastic 2017. Glad to see him on top of the world again here.
Yeah, he's been so cute. He's been so happy. It's great to see. But he wants to put up a great fight against this man in the right bottom side, the world champ.
ENCE Esports, Serral.
Whoa, that is a big Serral fan in the front row right there. I love Serral, but I can't say that I've had a fit of excitement when he's playing.
I've sat like that in front of my screen at home.
I actually, when Serral won this tournament last year, I remember standing next to you because Nick and Dan were casting the final, obviously, and I remember jumping in the air and actually doing like an 80s end of the movie when the credits are running, fist pump in the air. You know, when they usually freeze you in mid-frame and then they just roll the credits over your mid-air jumping body.
And then you land it and you got an ankle injury.
That's exactly right.
It's good to see Fear Dragon here, of course, as well. Does Elazer have a gas yet? I do not believe so right now. We were a bit distracted there. So
Yeah,
it's
gasless.
gasless opening. Obviously, there's a good map for it, right? You can get that wall off. We saw him do this against Dark as well. So he's once again going to try to play a very economic game over here. But this is the kind of map I'd really love to see. Something crazy, right? A couple of upgraded Zerglings, Muda play, stuff like that. I really like this map for late game ZVZ. Even though, like I said, I mean, I do not think that Elazer should play ultra late game. But I do believe that he can play certain strategies to go up to like 3-4 base scenarios very quickly, strong economy, and then try to hit some timing, right? How often don't we see like Lings into Mudas into like a massive Muda Bane attack, something along those lines,
well,
right?
you're absolutely right, Roddy. Like, be a little bit greedy, but don't go to the late game.
No.
Like, sometimes people will be like, oh, greedy means you're going late game. No, absolutely not. Sometimes it just means you want to end it in the mid game with just a big swell of production.
Yep, there's a very big difference between late game and real late game. I mean, late game people are like, oh, 4 bases, that's late game, right? It's like, no, that's not necessarily late game, because people often can just max out and try to win the game there. But if that doesn't happen, they don't necessarily know how to hit the next transitions, right? Like, we're no longer playing Wings of Liberty, where we all sit back, build ultra units, and then basically we're working with the strongest army possible, and then we fight. No, that's not how this goes. There is absolutely opportunity for Elazer to win, you know, big macro games when it comes to 4 or 5 bases, but keep it simple. Don't make the game super complicated. Don't play the Viper War. Don't play too much with lurkers. I do like always for any Zerg player to play Mudas against Serral, because I do feel like he still kind of hates playing against Mudas, where it's just often like he will try to knight us and just try to end it, but maybe you can you can shut that down, you can prevent it, and like that get a couple of map wins. Because I think for Elazer the most important thing here mainly is get that first W on the board. If you just get 1 map win on the board here, I think you play a lot more relaxed in the up and coming games.
Yeah, momentum's a big deal, and if you can slow down the momentum of Serral, it gives you a bit more of a relaxed feel going into it, sure. Serral has scouted the timing of the third base of Elazer, so a small economic edge to Elazer, but Serral, he's climbing that tech tree a little bit faster. The lag went down a lot faster than Elazer here.
Could be not a Nidus play. Could also this time that he goes just straight into Mudas, because he's probably done his homework. He saw that game that we saw as well, that Elazer played against Dark on this map, and he's like, oh, you go gasless, you go 3 base, that's fine. Maybe Serral is actually the one who's going to go into super quick Spire here. Yeah. Or it's Queen. I actually think it's Nidus, right? With the amount of Queens that Serral's
building. A lot of
building.
Lings as well.
Yeah.
You don't make these Lings to try and bust through a natural. You make them to try and... yeah, there it is. Yep. You make those Lings flood out of the Nidus Worm with the Queen support, of course. So a very aggressive timing attack here from Serral. Where would the Nidus go? I mean, you have to get past this wall in somehow, so...
I think what you do is you show up in the front, you drop a Nidus there, but then you also drop one in the main base.
Yeah, that Overlord right there looks very precarious. That's a Nidus spot for sure.
Or you can just do the first one there. Oh my goodness.
Straight in there, mate.
But Elazer has to be aware of this stuff, right? Like, I know he didn't scout it yet, but I cannot imagine that you've done this build like 10 times and that nobody has Nidus you yet. Like, this seems like a pretty obvious thing. One person goes straight 3 base gasless, the other person is going to Nidus.
I'm looking at the numbers here, Roddy,
oh my
and considering Elazer has not scouted this one bit, this is, on paper, looks very rough for Elazer. He's droning right now, Roddy.
I think rough is an understatement, Maynard.
I
If
think
this is rough, then...
I think this is about to be the end of our casting journey here at the Grand Final.
Deja vu of last year after a couple of cannon rushes, right? The main base is absolutely in shambles here for Elazer already. That's a ridiculous amount of Zerglings. The Roaches get surrounded as well to make this even worse.
And just like that, there is so much here from Serral. Elazer desperately trying to scramble a defense, but there is just too much from the champ. This Queen actually kind of blocking him a little bit, but she gets out of the way. Her babies get to work, and Elazer gets torn apart from the inside. GG. And that were Rotterdam and Maynard's 2 sets that we got to cast here from this grand final. It's going to be taste doses from here on out. But what an honor to get to cast a couple games here in Korea at the Afrika Studio. It's been a wonderful event. And this final already pretty short and sweet so far.
Yeah, it really has been an amazing 4 days. I think for all of us, if you love StarCraft, you follow this tournament, it's been cool. And obviously this final's not over yet, but for Elazer, I mean, he really needs to start picking it up. I'm a bit shocked, right? Because like I don't mind the build that he's trying to do there on Thunderbird. It's a good map to play heavy macro styles, but you gotta be aware of like a Nidus all in, right? Like that seems like pretty straightforward one-on-one StarCraft. One person is very greedy, the other one could potentially all in you. I'm shocked to see him not have any vision at all of his main base.
Something tells me that's probably the last time it's going to happen for Elazer. So We're going to take a short break, and when we return, Game 3 of the Grand Final of GSL vs. the World. Do not go away.
GSL versus the world.
Welcome back to the GSL versus the World Finals. Tases and Artosis here this time. So far, it's looking like we expected, but there's still room for a comeback. Elazer still got to hold out hope.
Yeah. I mean, those first 2 games were pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah.
Serral really did bash through, but you know what? Sometimes it turns around. Sometimes you have a couple bad games to open up a finals, and then suddenly the other player turns it on.
That's right. Well, look, I mean, Elazer not looking particularly confident here, but he's already got a little bit of a read on Serral's ZVZ.
Sure.
He's going to have to come in here with something very strong. Now, Elazer is cool as a cucumber in moments like this, and I think he's interested in getting a quick and speedy victory here. We're going to go to the map King's Cove. What can we expect here, Artosis?
Well, it's definitely a map where it can be a bigger macro game. It's going to be harder to actually break each other. So I'm hoping for a long game, to be honest. Like, I mean, the first 2 were so fast. If we just keep doing it like that, we're going to be out of here before the sun goes down.
It's true, man. So, our game is now loading up. Elazer from Poland, Serral from Finland. Serral, the former GSL vs. the World Champion, here to defend his title. The finals continues on. Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the upper left, from Poland, our Zerg player, he is
Ego Esports, Elazer.
And in the bottom right, in the red, the defending champion from Finland, he is
ENCE Esports, Serral.
Let's see what this monster has up his sleeves this time.
So good to have all you guys down here at the finals.
Yeah.
We get people coming in from all over the world.
It's been such a great crowd, really. Everyone's so friendly. It's having a great time here together.
So, as we saw earlier, Serral, very quick games, taking a commanding lead here. The problem with going against Serral and ZVZ is I don't think there's any real holes in Serral's playstyle.
Yeah.
He's really sort of maxed out all of his stats in every matchup. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to pull one over on him, and he's so good mechanically. I think that's the problem. Like, to out macro him, it's like a rhetorical question, or one of those riddles that has no answer.
This is a good question.
Is Serral human?
By the way, Gary's in the audience.
Of course,
Serral
GSL vs.
support.
World Finals.
I got to say, this is just it's so tough here for Elazer to come back and stabilize. In a situation like this, it was so unexpected that he got this far. I wonder what's going on in his head right now.
Well, I think he's probably calm still. Yeah, you're down 2-0, but this is a best of 7. You still have shots, even though everyone is kind of looking at this and saying, well, this is going to be one-sided. It's Serral, he's unbeatable. Elazer is good enough that he can force something out of this, I think.
Here comes Elazer now, taking his third base. It's going to be mirrored on the other side of the map here with Serral as well.
Yeah, very mirrored builds right now. Still waiting for the moment where one of them turns on the aggression. At some point, one of them is going to make a bunch of Zerglings or something like that, and that's where we get the action going.
Nothing requires you to make Zerglings right away unless you're about to be attacked by your opponent. So, you basically have two forks in the road here. You can keep making drones and try to monitor them until you get to that correct drone amount and then, play a pretty extreme macro game. Or you can halt making drones and then go Lings, and that's exactly what we're seeing here now with Serral. Serral has stopped that. He's getting 16 Lings. getting Ling's speed, and he is about to barrel towards Elazer. Now, Elazer needs to have the right amount of defenses. Baneling's Nest is going to finish. That is a defensive Baneling's Nest. Let's see if he can hold on.
Yeah, he's starting to make some of his own Lings and Banes right now. Serral is going across the map, and Overlord sees these Lings incoming, though. And Elazer even sneaks in one of his own Lings to kind of check out what's going on. This just confirms what he already knows.
Okay, now if Serral overextends and doesn't do any damage, it's going to be problematic. The problem, though, is that Serral is so strong in moments like this. He's going to come in here. It's key that the Banelings connect with the opposing player's Lings. There's also the option to have two Banelings connect on top of a lot of their Banelings to take them out and make them inefficient. And so we see the back and forth, the ebb and the flow. Serral beginning to come in here as the Banelings are zoning back Elazer's defensive Lings.
Really good micro so far by Elazer, I have to say. He's doing a great job. And it looks like, okay, all the Banelings are gone right now for Serral, so Elazer holds on nicely.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we needed to see here from Elazer. Just watching the production tab, we see both players are going back to droning up, but right now, Elazer, I don't know how this happened, but Elazer actually a little bit behind the drones here. Just by holding that attack off, I was halfway through the sense, and I looked down and went, oh, okay.
That's a bit
weird.
Peculiar, isn't it?
But yeah, generally, in theory, the guy that does the aggression, if he gets no kills on workers or doesn't kill a hatchery, then you know the defender usually has the advantage. So now Elazer is now going to throw down his Roach Warren and continue to tech up over on Serral's side of the map, getting +1 missile attacks.
Yeah, definitely getting ready for that next stage here as far as tech goes. You know, the Ling Bane battles, you might see little pokes like that, but it's not likely to see much more on King's Cove after that initial wave.
And so this map tends to incentivize players to macro up. Actually, does that? Okay, that's actually a really good scout.
Yeah.
Sees the layer, just finishes.
He actually did not see it finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Saw it morphing.
Okay.
So yeah, he's not entirely sure. It could be lined up with his, but instead it finished just a second after. So that's actually probably best case scenario for Elazer, considering that it did get scouted, I guess.
Now, we have the missile upgrades coming here from Elazer, but it's going to be later than Serral. So there's going to be a small window of time where if it becomes Roach versus Roach, Serral will have an advantage.
Well, right now he's getting his lair and Roach Horn. He's actually getting Overlord speed, so that's going to help him to scout quite a bit coming up. It's going to be hard for Elazer to pull the wool over his eyes, but I don't feel like he's trying to. You know, he's just making roaches right now, and we're going to see him move out and try to hit an attack when he hits the amount he wants.
Yeah. We also have, with the fourth base being taken here, this may tempt Elazer into some real aggression. Right now there's a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of map control here. But we see eight roaches being made, and a Nidus network starts.
Yeah, Elazer is the one that's going to be aggressive in this game. A Spire going up for Serral, but that is not something that we're likely to see used this game. All right, let's see. He's poking a little bit with the Lings. He sees some roaches moving out as well.
Now look at this. Elazer is trying to demonstrate that he might push out into the front. We don't know where this Nidus is going to be. Let's see if we can actually get a read on this. It's actually going to be a reinforcing Nidus. I thought it was actually going to be hidden somewhere to pop out in the main.
Okay, makes sense. I mean, he has a gigantic army right now. A ton of roaches moving across the map. He's about to have his +1. He's about to have roach speed. That's more than we can say for Serral.
Okay, and the Nidus network starts right underneath that Overlord of Serral as he's going to try to push in here now. The Lings need to avoid getting into contact with those Banelings. Good targeting there with the Elazer's roaches.
Yeah, very good attack forward. Some Banelings moving up. They're going to connect the roaches as best they can. Not the most efficient move, but they do hit. Now, Elazer has that Nidus going up. He has a lot of roaches coming in to reinforce as well. And look at this. Elazer pushing through. He's up 20 army supply.
Elazer seems to be doing it, crushing through these roaches from Serral. And remember, with the presence of that Nidus network and a second one being made, Elazer can continue to reinforce this attack.
Oh, absolutely. Tons of damage being done. And GG is called. Elazer puts his name on the board.
It's happening. Elazer takes one game up of Serral. Can he keep the momentum going?
Yes. Yes, he can. Elazer just put out a very nice game. You know, that was a sharp attack right there. He was down drones for a bit. He just stopped making them, went into the units, nailed the Nidus, and just got out there. Serral was playing a kind of more greedy macro game after that early Ling aggression. So overall, you look at that game, Elazer played just amazingly.
Yeah, I mean, Elazer, upset after upset after upset, and here he is against Serral, regarded as the best player in the world. Can he keep doing it, though? I mean, best of 7, man, that's a lot of games to win. You know, he has to win 3 more. It's hard to imagine. But we've seen miracles already happen here in GSL versus the world.
Absolutely. Acropolis going to be our next map. A very interesting map for ZVZ. Very large. Likely to see a longer game.
And that game has now loaded up. Game 4, Elazer versus Serral, starts now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the bottom right, in the blue, our Polish player, he is.
Ego Esports, Elazer.
Nice win from him in that last game, giving him hope.
And in the upper left, in the red, the defending champion from Finland.
ENCE Esports, Serral.
Many Serral fans here in the audience. It's amazing to watch such a phenom at work.
It's funny because, last year, and the same is true here in our studio now, the number of Finnish expatriates who are in Korea, they come down. It makes you really realize, I guess there are a decent number of people from Finland and Korea. And, of course, why would you not come down here if Serral's playing?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I imagine we probably have some players or some people from Poland here in the audience as well. I mean, it was really exciting news to see that Elazer actually manages to get in the finals. And here he is. He's taken 1 game off of the god himself, Serral.
Yeah. It's, I want to say they have a rivalry. We don't really see that, though, right? It's a little bit one-sided. This is a mountain, really, for Elazer to climb. Like you said, there needs to be a change. Someone needs to be able to take out a Serral. And so far, really, Raynor's been the only one to be able to stand up to him.
Yeah. Again, these European Zergs, so strong. That region really has mapped out so perfectly how this race can be played, how it can be exploited.
Well, they're definitely ahead of the Korean Zergs.
Yeah. It was funny because
really
there was debate for a while, and you and me would actually joke about it because we think, why would the Europeans actually think that they might be better than the Koreans at Zerg? Like, that's just so silly. And then
they thought that way before they actually were.
Yeah. We're talking like 4 or 5 years ago. But I will tell you what, we're in a Korean tournament here in Seoul, and it is a Poland versus Finland match with 2 Zergs. So I guess times have changed.
This is kind of the all-star match. It's a little bit of a precursor to BlizzCon because the player pool will probably be a little bit similar. And sure, last year Serral won GSL vs. the World and then won BlizzCon. Now, will that happen again this year? I don't think that, he's definitely the best player at the moment, but you can't be counting out those Koreans either. Not even the Zergs.
Yep. So we have the Banelings coming down. Just like we said in the previous game, we're basically watching the production tab to see if and when either of the 2 players are going to make drones. Just to kind of go big picture here. If you're making lings, you're not making drones. If you're making drones, you're not making lings, right? And so some players are very tempted to get up a lot of workers and try to have a really robust macro game. But you can always simply stop making workers, make a lot of lings, get speed, and try to barrel out an attack. And if that other player has made too many drones, he is going to get steamrolled. But of course, aggression like that does operate like a double-edged sword. If you get too aggressive and you do no damage, generally the defender has a huge advantage and is able to make a series of good decisions on how to take the game to a win.
Well, this game, neither side is really getting aggressive. A very medium-ish amount of lings made by Serral. Elazer sees that, makes a slightly more medium-ish amount of lings. But really on either side, you see 8 lings made, 10 lings made. And that's not really for attacking, that's kind of a safety amount.
And despite a slight worker difference, these guys are basically doing the same builds.
Yeah, very
This is all mirrored. Now we have the missile upgrades coming. There's also a layer being made here for Serral. Let's wait and see if Elazer gets a layer of his own.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that he hasn't as of yet. Adding a couple gases. It makes me think that Elazer might go for a massive roach attack pre-layer. Yeah, there goes the layer. Okay. It's wondering about that, but not that far off, really, from what we see on the side of Serral.
Okay, nice block there, denying any kind of scouting. You always see these Lings one by one try to dart into the main, because if you can get a read on what the opposing player is doing, it's very helpful. There's a lot of different ways you can play ZVZ.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so just trying to get an idea of what they're doing, it can give you the opportunity to do some counterplay. Hard to stop Lings too, man. They're very slippery units. They're super fast, and basically only the Queen's going to be able to hit them. So you got to really be on top of clogging your engines like we see over here.
Yeah, that's a good wall by Serral. Really trying to deny scouting as much as he can. But both sides are getting Overlord speed, so definitely going to get some intel going very shortly here. Okay, the second evolution chamber coming up for Serral.
Okay.
And a drop Overlord as well.
Yeah. So the drop Overlord's going to try to shuttle some Zerglings into a position where obviously the other player has to try to defend, and then you might see a larger attack over in a more exposed area because the defender's army is going to have to relocate to try to stop the drop.
Interesting seeing Elazer make a couple drop Overlords right here near his main base. Maybe going to send those out now. See if he can get some sort of damage done. Putting Banelings inside is Serral.
Okay, nice scouting Overseer here. Spot that.
It feels like they're mirroring each other so closely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the second Evo's coming up very close. The same types of upgrades going. Drop Overlords on both sides. See if anyone can get that damage done with those drop Overlords, though.
Yeah.
This one's a fake.
Yeah, this is the funny thing, right? You see the drop Overlord. Now, obviously, you're going to assume there's a drop, but it's actually empty. So this is some very mind game stuff we're seeing here. So right now, excuse me, Serral is under the impression that there is a pin set up here, that if Serral leaves his base, there will be drops coming in, when in fact that one at the north is empty. But we're seeing over here a similar play by Serral, but not with an empty Overlord. And instead, this is going to be a Banelings drop. Will this connect?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Roach drop over here.
Yeah, Roach is coming out, but oh my God, the Banelings actually hit there. 7 drones going down on that side.
Yeah, nice play there by Elazer.
I think that this is actually a Baneling in the Overlord. Yes, it is! A beautiful move
that
right
was
there.
So good.
Yeah, you waited for the
He's
drill
so
back.
Smart.
Beautiful
Okay,
move.
wait, we got to go back and explain what just happened there. So he drops the Roaches out. Remember I said I thought it was a Baneling drop, and then the Roaches came out. I said, oh, the Roach drop.
Yes.
So then the drones were getting chased away. As the drones turned back because the defending army was there, he drops the Baneling. Like, 400 IQ play.
Yes. And the thing is, you might look at it and say, oh, isn't that suspicious? Only 3 Roaches when 4 can fit. 3 Roaches one-shot a drone. So it's not that suspicious.
Yeah. Very good point, Artosis. So, I mean, that's like such advanced play to have that Baneling pocketed there. Now, Elazer has branched out on the map. He's hugging the far right side here, whereas Serral is actually staying more in his quadrant, if you will. Is he pulling all the queens? Are we about to see a timing here?
Oh, I'd be surprised if he starts walking queens across.
I missaw that. I thought for a second, oh, God, that's really weird. But maybe he does something I don't. Queen was actually being transferred, excuse me. But we're now getting into a very, very intense macro race. Both players are maxing out. ZVZ, when you get to this phase of the game, is very much so about positioning. And we see Elazer already trying to get into a good spot, and he actually might be able to cut Serral off the pass. I don't know if Serral should advance much further, but hold on. Well, Serral is actually getting a much better arc, as I said that, and is now chasing Elazer down onto the low ground.
Not just that, but he actually gooped the +2 attack upgrade of Elazer, so he has that 1 upgrade advantage for a considerable amount of time here. A nice mini engagement there from Serral, really pushing every edge that's possible.
Okay, Elazer's cut Serral off on the pass. Serral instead tries to head north and loop around. This is a soft spot here, this one hatchery. And also Elazer's branched off a small army for a counterattack. We don't have it on. Okay, there it is. That's actually not really a small army. That's actually a pretty impressively large army. So we got to see what that can actually do to Serral. I don't know if his reinforcements will be big enough to actually catch this. Meanwhile, Elazer has actually forced Serral to back up.
A very reasonable size on this. He's going to get in, start picking off some queens, maybe some drones as well. Of course, Serral's sent enough to deal with it technically, but if this is microed well, it can still get some serious damage done.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of micro on multiple fronts, taking out drones all over the place. And this has actually put Serral on the defense.
Yeah, I feel like this is a great move from Elazer. Now, both of them are getting their hives and continuing forward. A Lurker Den on the way for Elazer.
By the way, Elazer carefully stepping forward, trying to gain ground. Has Serral spread himself too thin? There's a unguarded base at the top of the map, but Serral is also sending these burrowed roaches out here to do some counterattacking of his own.
Yeah, it seems like Elazer did not even notice that. He does force a cancel on this base, but he's getting caught with a lot of units. Serral doing a great job right now. Those burrow movement roaches as well as this army dealing damage.
Beautifully done here. More corrosive vials are getting chucked out. As Elazer is retreating to his upper right base, but this, I don't know if there's actually enough to defend here. We see some spine crawlers thrown down. This base is not so much being mined as it is claimed as a territory. He's not able to really get many workers over there because he had to make those spine crawlers.
It is a good point. He definitely wants to get the economy running as Serral has 4 bases, 5th on the way. 5th coming up for Elazer to the north even of that base. But you know what? These burrow movement roaches, I feel like Serral's doing a good job pushing those around.
Okay. We're getting to an insane late game ZVZ here. Both players are on 5 bases.
Yeah, that means we should be getting into some Lurker play and then, of course, Viper play.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of Viper play. Now, how is Elazer going to measure up to Serral at that point? It really feels like Serral's the ultimate late game server.
He really is. But Elazer says he can take it on his own here. I mean, he did opt to bring this game into a supreme late game. You know, Elazer is always welcome to do Ling all-ins. I mean,
yeah. I guess that's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to think of it.
I think occasionally you got to not do that as well.
You know, it's his game to lose.
Yeah.
Depends on what he wants to do. So the northernmost base cannot be defended. Serral is a master at balancing out the Roach Ravager Hydras into positions. So he wins that fight at the top. But Elazer is going to try to chase this army away down here. Now, Elazer has gone for Lurker Tech.
And Serral is getting up into Lurker Tech as well, but not quite as quickly, which means Adaptive Talon's going to be here pretty quickly for Elazer also. Of course, as you get these Lurkers out, the Roach armies have a lot harder time, but you're less mobile with these armies.
Okay, Elazer's going to pounce now. I think we're going to have an even exchange here as that upper base was taken out, and now an eye for an eye here as Elazer takes out that northernmost base. And nice move here by Serral to try to come in and take this out. I'm sorry, he's actually not going to take that base out. He's actually wedged himself in between this.
Yeah.
And I think this might have been a tactical error here by Elazer, because if Serral can get up there and save that hatchery, it would be huge.
Yeah, it's like, it seems like right now Elazer's not going to get anything instead of getting a definite kill.
Yeah. I think that Elazer got into a good position and then got a little bit greedy.
I think you're right, yeah.
Because he thought, it was almost like a win more tactical move, you know, but all you had to do was win. You don't need to win more.
Yeah.
So he tried to get in there and actually blockade the army from coming in and defending it, but he should have just targeted down the hatchery and then retreated.
Right now he's kind of chasing around the few units left on his side of the map, re-expanding. He's re-droned up as well, going slightly above what Serral has. Both sides going into that Lurker Tech. Of course, we don't see Vipers yet here for Elazer, and that's definitely a unit you need to see. Okay, he just popped 5.
Well, we have Elazer coming up now. Again, a good interception of those burrowed roaches. Really nice play. It's so much about ZVZ, it involves preemption. If you can just get ahead of them, if you can just stop it before it starts, that's how you're going to win.
We don't see any more Lurkers being made as of yet here for Elazer. And again, normally this is like a Viper Lurker type of war, right? The Vipers really counter the Lurkers well, and the Lurkers kind of counter everything else. So, interesting to see that. Maybe he's going for a more mobile-based army. But I believe he even has adaptive talent, so I really do want to see some more Lurkers.
Okay, small roach drop. It might not look like a lot, but you know, if you do these little drops here and there, the army comes back to defend. You're looking for an opening here as Serral. You're looking, obviously, to kill drones, but more importantly, to have the opposing army reposition to where you can then battering ram your army through into like another base. Like we're seeing, we haven't shown it, but yeah, up here.
Yeah, let's see how this one goes, right? That is a lot of Vipers being added in by Serral. 8 Vipers against just 5 on his opponent's side. Okay, the Lurkers are ready for Elazer, pushing forward with him. Oh, some beautiful yanks over there. Picking off a couple of the Lurkers with the Blinding Cloud, slowing him down.
Okay. We have the Vipers being taken out, but Elazer's army is beginning to thin out. A little bit too squishy there. He will control that high ground ramp, but again, it's such yin and yang here of positioning on the map. I mean, Elazer controls that area down here, but a neglected hatchery means this is going to be taken out. Oh my God! Oops, that was not an easy decision to make. I think that might have been a bad decision there.
I think it might have even been a mistake. Maybe he thought it was about to die.
Yeah, I think he had miscalculated what the kill might actually be.
It's kind of a rare thing to see, but it can happen. Another roach drop into the main base. Serral's multitasking. Awesome, of course, as we see here.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why he's so scary.
Okay, count as lucky stars that he managed to save that. And again, Serral tries to sneak in there, completely denies that. Elazer looking so good in this game.
Yeah, he's playing really, really nicely, but I am afraid about these battles that we're seeing, right? There's just... The Viper control of Serral is so strong.
Okay. Instead, Serral decides to move more towards the center of the map. He's looking for an opening. Again, the way that Elazer's expanded, I think it would be a bit of a surprise for him to have this attack come in from this angle. This is like a very confusing way to come in, and it might catch Elazer off guard.
All right, he's got his lurkers burrowed. A little bit hard to press in there. I like how he's yanking anything he can get at this point. Look at that, just picks off a random Viper right there. We saw him pulling an Overseer before as well. Oh my gosh, a lurker.
Oh man. Well, that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
Take out all those drones. I don't know if Elazer's, his hands might be too full to actually deal with that for a little bit. And that's 16 drone kills, guys. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's painful each and every time. Now, Elazer had more drones than Serral for a bit there. He actually has a bigger bank as well, which we should point out. But overall, the army power of Serral is a bit higher. More Hydras he's had for most of the time, as well as Lurkers, as well as Vipers.
Ouch. Ooh. Big bile connects there.
Yeah, really.
But again,
nice
sometimes it's not about the big battles. I mean, I think if we're going big picture, some of these lurker harasses are really beginning to slow down Elazer. He needs to get his worker count up. It's 62 drones for Serral, 50 for Elazer.
Yeah, it might be time to set up maybe just a little bit more static D so that these tiny roach attacks don't do as much, right? How many times have we seen 3 roaches somewhere killing a bunch of drones?
Right.
We saw that single lurker in there just destroying his mineral line. I definitely do think it's worthwhile to throw up a spine or 2 at each base.
Okay, I think... Oh, he's not going to go and finish off that hatchery. He's instead trying to look for a good angle to take this fight, but Elazer, like 360-degree attack here, completely surrounding this and crushing through Elazer, killing it right now.
Wow, that was a beautiful tactic by Elazer, just surrounding him absolutely everywhere. Now he pushes him back. I don't think that this is breakable, but maybe he can get a little bit of damage done.
He's going to go for it. We see the corrosive vials being chucked down further, some blinding clouds forcing Elazer to relocate, but I don't think Elazer's done quite yet.
More and more lurkers being made. The Vipers so deadly so far from Serral.
If he could actually break that position, he would be able to then kill the northern base too, but it looks like Elazer is being very cautious here.
He's made a lot of lurkers. Oh, another great abduct. Each abduct you see, that's just money into Serral's pocket. It's very interesting to watch how Elazer, it feels like he's doing a lot of things that are less cost efficient, but he consistently has a bigger bank.
Yes, he does. That's a very good point. He's actually sitting on quite a bit of money. Yeah,
Serral's been keeping a very high-quality army the entire time, though, and he's made more of the static we've been talking about.
Okay. The Lurkers come forward, the Hydras come in here, and I don't see anything defending here. I think Elazer's army setup might be a little bit lopsided where he didn't really have anything to defend. Now, as Elazer came back to defend that, he also incidentally stumbled upon a hatchery that was being taken and took that out. But mission accomplished here for Serral. Serral maneuvers out. No, actually he doesn't. I think he's going to be pinned in this corner. But if I were Serral, I would take that over letting Elazer have a hatchery there.
Sure. I mean, if he can trade reasonably well as well. Oh my gosh! Look at all these lurkers being picked off.
Oh my God!
Oh my God. The amount of abducts that we just saw there from Serral, just so much value being gained. You can really see the difference in supplies now, too.
Elazer is now moving down here towards the bottom. Keeping this expansion of that hatchery is still there.
Somehow, some way.
This is like the butterfly effect here. Had he waited a half a second longer and killed that, or even sacked some roaches to kill it, maybe Elazer would not be there, and maybe we'd be already in Game 5. But Instead, he's got it, and when he has that bottom location, he's going to expand there.
Yeah, you know, that's a good thing for Elazer, making this game a little bit closer for him. But we need more great moves like what we saw with that gigantic flank, that gigantic surround against Serral, because right now, every time he attacks just heads on, the abducts are destroying him.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're actually doing like a big surround type attack, abducts aren't that good.
Yeah,
your opponent wants to be in there.
It's going to be tricky. You know, whenever you see a player running, that's when running away, I should say, excuse me. That's when abduct is its strongest. You know, especially with the Hydras there. The Hydras deal so much damage so fast.
Yeah, it's really, really quick.
And Elazer is just not going to give up this location. I just don't see it happening, and I don't see how Serral pushes down here. Now, Serral seems to have more of a positional setup, because if you can check the mini-map here, in the bottom left, both of those two bases are being taken. So, yeah, I think Elazer should absolutely not attack into that.
Nice, some more lurker attacks over here at another base. A lot of damage put onto that hatchery.
Can we point out that somehow now Serral has actually gotten control of 2/3 of the map?
I know, right? He's doing all these pushes just slowly but surely coming in from all sides. Now just, hey, why not take every base that I'm in front of?
Right, yeah. Can that hatchery, man, had he gotten that? Oh. Serral seems to have, there's a bit of a blind spot here. With no army to defend, Elazer is now going to move down here towards the bottom. Now, I think Serral can keep that base, but the very bottom one, I'm not so sure. Oh, wait a minute. Does he not know? Okay, he spots it. He was actually going up to that other place, but he sees that there's a freebie here.
Yeah, at least he'll be able to pick that off this time. Good thing he didn't make that move that we saw previously, where he had a free base and then moved up and just kind of lost his army trying to get more. You got to take what you can get sometimes. Okay, so he's maxed out again, by the way, but not a very big gas bank, so we need to see Elazer be as efficient as possible.
Okay, really nice harpooning. That always looks so weird.
Yes, it really does.
Okay, blinding clouds on both sides. I don't know that Elazer can breach this. I mean, this angle is going to be terrible, especially if the lurkers just move up a little bit.
Okay, well, he is rotating around. A couple defensive lurkers there. So, yeah, it doesn't look like he can actually engage into that right now. Need to get some more Vipers up here with some energy. Oh, look at that. Actually comes up and sieges completely. Trying to take out these lurkers. Taking a lot of damage on his army. A flank, though, by Serral. A beautiful move here.
This might be the first major blunder we've seen here. Elazer attacks into this location. He does lose a lot of those key tech units. Both sides are massing up a ton of Hydras. And I stand corrected here.
Yeah.
Elazer actually got this base. I didn't think he was going to take it, but he's doing it.
The reinforcements did wonders for him there. And now suddenly Serral's drone count dropping a little bit. He is at a minor supply block, but still, when you look at it, his army is a bit better.
We're running out of map here, Artosis.
Yeah.
Like, there's no more bases left, right?
There's one that hasn't been taken, and to be fair, a few of these bases have had very few minerals actually mined.
That's true, yeah.
From
They've
them.
been territories more than bases.
Yeah.
Okay, Serral's going to try to come in here. Nice tiny counterattack, you know. Serral does so much with so little. This is a weird predicament for both sides here, guys, because this map is huge, right? But they're both trying to control both the top and the bottom.
Yeah, and that's becoming very, very difficult. You see that Elazer's getting stretched a little bit thin. Serral is just roaming around using abducts left and right, getting all of the expensive units. Look at that. Lurkers just popping up out of the ground.
Okay, nicely done. The Hydras come forward. And, I mean, this base is just not going to be saved, I don't think. What?
Oh,
No.
he's abducting twice on Vipers to kill him at this point.
Are we just not going to kill the hatchery? Did you just see that?
He just wants to get out of there. He's killed the lurkers. That's
It's
that's
like
enough.
affecting my OCD here. I just look at this. I'm like, you got it. Kill that hatchery, man. That's 2 times now. Okay, so Serral continuing to roam. Now, note the supplies here. Elazer has quite a bit of minerals here, but no gas. So he's at 159 supply. Serral is maxed out and is burning his income beautifully.
Yeah.
And I think for all the jabs and pokes that we've had in this game, Serral seems to be very close to navigating this to a victory.
It really does look that way. His army is just so strong right now. Look at this coming in here. destroying this base in a matter of seconds.
I would need to watch this game several more times to really fully understand where Serral did this right and where Elazer did this wrong. This is actually one of the most technical things I've ever had to cast.
To be honest,
this is such a crazy ZVZ.
It really is. And I got to say, the abducts are really what I'm feeling here for Serral. He has done such a good job just consistently pulling in lurkers and then retreating. You know, he's kept a big group of Hydras, so anything he brings in dies instantly.
Yeah. And oddly, Serral's kind of collapsed in here. But Elazer, is he going to be able to get out? He needs to get more gas.
Yeah, well, he's got a few bases that are secured right now, but he's down about 40 army supply. We see him adding on a few more spores, a few more spines to try to secure these bases for the longer term. But really, the thing that's scary here is that right there. You see the amount of energy on these Vipers when these come in. How do you see
there
where
it
that
is.
Instantly grabs everything that's expensive.
Harpoons the lurker, and this army, I think, could squash this base pretty easily. He's pushing through. I don't think that Elazer can hang on.
No,
Lightning clouds going down, making the lurkers completely useless.
He's got his own here now. Let's see. He's abducting a bunch of the Vipers over, but they actually don't die that quickly. There's not many Hydras on the Elazer side.
Not a bad hold here by Elazer, but again, if those supplies are true, eventually Serral should be able to squish this, and that's it. GG. Serral takes game 4.
All right, a nice game, a much longer game, kind of as expected on Acropolis.
Yep.
And this puts Serral on match point. He's up 3-1 right now, and one more map win makes him the 2-time GSL vs. World Champion.
So sick, man. Serral is so godlike. That was a really technical ZVZ, and by the way, Elazer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what are you going to do, man?
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
It's Serral.
He did really well. It's
crazy because Elazer was like doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But like,
he had some really fantastic moments in there.
Man. Well, let's see what happens in Game 5. We're going to go to a short break, and we come back. The GSL versus the World Finals continues.
We're chasing the sun. We don't need anyone. We fall when you scream. You don't mean anything. We're chasing the sun. We don't need anyone. We fall when you scream. You don't mean anything.
2019 GSL versus the world.
We return back to the GSL versus the world. Serral is up with a 3-1 lead. If Serral wins here, it's over. Elazer has to come back with a 3-win victory against the former GSL versus the world champion.
It's a tall order.
Yep.
That's
one of the hardest things you could ever have to do, ever.
I think it would be the hardest thing, right?
Yeah,
Can you think of something harder?
I don't think there is anything harder than that.
No, yeah, right? Like, I mean,
what about becoming president? There's been lots of presidents.
Yeah, there's only been one Serral.
There's only been one Serral.
Becoming president doesn't look like it's that hard, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I could be president.
What is Elazer going to do? I mean, Elazer looks so good in that macro game. I mean, really. I know that Serral's crushing it right now, but really he was playing so well.
Game, man.
And that was such a technical game. Does Elazer try to dial it back and go into rush games instead of intense macro map fights? I don't know.
No.
I don't know, guys. I'm supposed to know. I'm supposed to be the guy that's going to tell you guys what's going to happen, but I don't know what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's a hard one, man. Cyber Forest, it's a smaller map. Maybe he can turn up that aggression.
All right, let's do it. Game 5 starts now on Cyber Forest. Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
In the bottom right, in the blue, he needs the comeback from Poland. He is
Ego Esports, Elazer.
In the upper left, in the red, he is
ENCE Esports
from Finland.
Serral.
12 pool time. All right. So, either A, he's trying to throw Elazer off, and Elazer wouldn't expect this.
Yeah.
B, he just wants to be right about his 4-2 prediction. No, seriously, Dark has mentioned that this is a strong build, but a lot of the times at this level when we see it, it doesn't work. Is Serral going to be able to break through?
So we have the spawning pool on the way, and there is no pool in sight. None. Nothing, not a zip, zero, zilch. Okay, there we go. It started, but there's already 6 slings on the way, Artosis.
Yeah, this is going to be hard to hold. Let's see. I want to see if he does anything crazy with it. Okay, he just makes a hatch.
Yeah, and when you have a 3-1 lead in a best of 7, of course you can try to get experimental, try to take some risks. It is so difficult to come back in a best of 7 if you're down in a position like this. We basically almost never see it. So now Elazer knows these lings are coming. Let's see the decision-making he has to handle it.
Sometimes a player will get 3-0'd. In fact, every player on Earth can get 3-0'd, but maybe not Serral. So yeah, I like that he's mixing in this rush on such a small map. Now he goes right after that hatchery. Drone's getting pulled.
Yep.
There's not a baneling nest, so that's good for Elazer.
Okay, here come those drones now. Now he's trying to buy time. He wants to get as much more health. He doesn't want to lose any drones, so there's sort of this dance they're both having to do, a back and forth.
Ooh, loses a drone. A lot of damage on this hatchery right now.
Low.
Yeah,
he needs to save this.
He's trying to micro as best he can. Finally, his Zergling's coming out as well. 3 drones have fallen.
Does he have enough, though? The lings have chased him away, and the hatchery survives.
Okay. Losing 4 drones. His hatchery is up. That's a big deal. They're actually on equal worker counts. Way more lings out for Elazer, so he can actually put a little bit of pressure on to Serral as well. All right, this doesn't look bad for Elazer.
And, what Serral did, it doesn't, it's a risk. You're trying to pull a fast one. It's a smart move. But maybe Elazer can seize control of this game and really come out on top. We have a Ling Scout that comes in here, just confirming what probably Serral already suspected. Nothing too crazy so far. He didn't see all of the creep, but you take what you can get with those scouts. Serral is now barricading his entrance with the Evo Chambers and the Queens, as he wants to lock himself out of Elazer's grasp and begin to most likely tech up. We'll see.
I like that he's walled in at this point, just playing it a little bit more safe. Knows that Elazer has a bit of an advantage. Thought he could get attacked, but cancels that evolution chamber as nothing comes.
Yeah. Now, obviously, when you see the Evo Chambers and the Queens at the entrance, locking out the other army. I mean, Elazer has to be suspicious, but in this moment he says, well, why not just go ahead and expand here? Doesn't seem like you're going to be able to attack me.
Yeah, all right. Serral, like, what do you think his plan is from
I'm
right here?
really
Like,
not
are you going to
sure.
stay aggressive, or do you want to try to get into a longer game?
You know, I just don't know, man. He's got such a unique, perfected approach to ZVZ. I mean, for now, it's obvious he's continuing to drone up. He's getting Link speed, but that's just an upgrade you get in this matchup.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really tell us anything. There's the Roach Warren.
Okay.
And he's on 2 bases. So when you have 2 players and one's on 2 bases, the other is going to 3, the 2-base player needs to do something.
Yes.
Because, you know, the more bases you have in StarCraft, the better position you're in. And so it's going to be mass links. Now, he's getting armor behind this.
Yeah, right now what it looks like is that he's teching up to roaches, right? He's got a
Right.
full wall. He's not showing lings. That's pulsating. Normally that's going to be +1 range attack.
Okay, so he actually hid the lings pretty effectively.
Yeah.
And now he's going to send them all the way across the map. There's tons and tons and tons of lings coming here. And so Elazer makes his own barricade.
It seems likely right now. Yeah, he has to cancel that third base.
No third base now for Elazer. He ditches that plan.
Yeah, not very likely that that's going to work. Okay, he's actually going to come up and start pummeling this wall right now. There are some lings outside for Elazer. He's going to bring them in and try to draw the rest of the lings away. That'll buy him a bit of time.
Okay, so now we have both these guys getting squeezed here. Actually, excuse me, Serral's going to take a third here. And so we've kind of flipped positions. Now, obviously, Serral didn't win the game with that attack, but he did allow his own third to start, where Elazer is now marooned on 2 bases. And did he let those Wallens finish? Yeah, so he's going to have to actually destroy his own Wallen to even get back out again.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's all right. He's just been making roaches this whole time, so he's going to be able to try to pressure, I think, but can you get anything done? It feels pretty even overall.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Well, maybe Elazer can seesaw it back. Maybe he can come and try to hit this base over here. The problem is like, okay, so we see him trying to counterattack, but, you know, Serral already has this wall set up. It's pretty airtight. I don't really see any holes that he can try to exploit here, you know, as far as Serral's defense.
Yeah. The one big thing is that Roach Speed is going to finish way ahead for Elazer.
This also might become a factor later on, but with Elazer having to kill that Evo at his entrance, he's actually got a pretty big entrance that Lynx can counterattack into.
That's true.
And Serral may see that and already begin to decide that it's time to strike.
Right now, he's been making a lot of roaches. His roach speed is about to finish. That's his one real advantage here. He's actually even going to be down one carapace upgrade. But if he moves out, you can actually kind of out-micro your opponent's roaches when you have speed and they don't. I would love to see Elazer push across and see if he can get anything done.
Okay. Very unusual ZVZ here. You know, as far as how we got here. Again, this was Serral, Ling rushing to the start, trying to get the hatchery. Elazer barely saves the hatchery. Serral, once again, walls himself in and then does this really great attack out here, stopping Elazer from being on third base. Now, Serral has his third up earlier, but Elazer finally has his own big attack to come up. Positioning in Roach vs. Roach is everything. And so you want to have this nice arc. And there's going to be a Ling counterattack, I think.
Yeah, it looks like he's running around looking for damage with that. I'm not sure if he's going to find
I think
any.
he wanted to try to catch reinforcing roaches.
Yeah.
But Elazer actually had a different waypoint set up. He's banked more roaches so that that can't happen. Again, these guys just, they're so good at maneuvering in ZVZ. It's really impressive to watch.
It's really been tit for tat here too, right? Like, Lazer's not quite able to find any way in. Serral's able to finish up his roach speed upgrade just now, so that advantage is gone. And really what remains is that +1 carapace that he is ahead. But, you know, pretty soon Elazer's going to have that as well.
All right. I guess we might just end up back in a macro game. Sort of an unintended consequence on both sides. Of the, but it might not be able to go in any other direction. Now, Elazer's supply is ramping up. And in a normal cast, I would say this is going to be a problem for Serral, but Serral's been so good at holding everything off. Look at that, fanning out the Overlords.
Yeah. All right, the first person I've ever seen break down these rocks. Thank you, Elazer. But look, yeah, he is going to try to get that pressure on. He's going to be at 2-1. That's going to be very, very nice for Elazer. And with that, those additional roaches and all these Ravagers he's making, maybe he can actually go down and break him before the game gets any bigger.
Okay. Roach Ravager moving out now. And Serral.
Yeah, making as many of his own Ravagers as he can.
Now the numbers favor Elazer, but the angles favor Serral. Let's see how this goes.
Ooh, some good biles going down right now. Pulls back for the moment. Can kill these rocks and try to come in from 2 different angles. Oh, but Serral immediately going up the ramp.
Yeah, he immediately pounces, wipes out one Ravager, rotates back over to this side. He's ready to try to take this attack on as well. Elazer needs to make this work right now.
Oh, a huge spread here from Elazer. Now he has a nice concave, but here we go with tons of biles all over the place, actually landing as well. Elazer pushing forward, gaining the upper hand.
And it looks like this is not going to be enough for Serral. GG, Elazer takes it and is beginning the comeback.
Beautifully done. Just 2 more maps to go if he wants to be the champion. But Elazer holding on against that 12 pool. Serral did not make it easy, though.
That was crazy. But again, I mean, that's exciting. He won the game, but let's go back to the start, Artosis. Serral took a risk. He did that Ling Rush. It did not pay off. And, you know, against someone like Elazer, he is able to bend and weave and bob and then ultimately come in here with this big timing attack and win. But Serral's probably not going to use that build order again as we go into Game 6.
Yeah, I definitely don't think so. Game 6 going to be on Turbo Cruise.
Okay.
This is one of our stranger maps, of course, with those center areas that slow down everything.
Right.
Definitely can make Ravager Biles land a lot easier.
If Elazer wins in this next game, it's tied up 3-3. Serral took a risk, but that's kind of what you do when you're up 3-1. You pull out a crazy build because maybe you get the free win. You know, there's so many different things you have to think about in a best of 7. And so we go to Turbo Cruise 84. What are these guys going to do? You know, Serral could take another risk, but if it doesn't work, oh my God, we're actually in the rubber match.
Game 7, who knows what happens?
Yeah,
Serral doesn't look as relaxed as he normally
No,
does, right?
I think he's thinking to himself, oh my God, wait a minute, this might fall apart. Our game has loaded up. Elazer vs. Serral continues on.
4, 3, 2, 1.
In the upper right from Poland, beginning the comeback. He is
Ego Esports, Elazer.
in the bottom left, the defending champion from Finland.
ENCE Esports, Serral.
Thus begins such an important game. Audience holding its breath and its signs.
Yeah.
Can Elazer pull another one?
I mean, I'm starting to think, yeah, Artosis.
He's a very strong ZVZ player.
He's clearly on a completely new level that the rest of the players, and I think even Elazer himself wasn't fully aware of it until we started this tournament a few days ago. By the way, as far as builders go, things are mirrored for now. There is no, at least for now, no risks involved here. It's looking par for the course in ZVZ.
Yeah, of course we're going to be waiting to see how this goes. Now, nice sign. Okay, so this map with the slowing spaces, I'm trying to think of the various ways that this can really alter strategically what they want to do. Right? Obviously, if you are sitting in a concave outside the green areas, your opponent cannot attack into that.
Right.
It's just, it would be a suicide mission.
So, in this game, again, we've seen that Elazer can hold his own against Serral. He can do a good job. He's a strong player. But generally speaking, Serral seems to have the edge. We've had a couple of these Ling attacks come in here. Do you think it could be, when I say that, I'm sorry, that sounds a little bit too ambiguous. With these rushes where they try to come in and hit in different areas, a lot of times when the player's taking their third base, do you think we're going to see that this time around?
No, not as much. You can't really rally the Lings directly up as easily because of these green areas, right? You have to be very careful running around. A lot of it has to do with the speed, so I feel like it's going to be a slightly more defensive opening on both sides.
Right.
Roach Ravager seems like the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. Again, guys, the same build's happening. Third base is being taken. Ling's speed close to finishing. The Bane Ling's nest on both sides, halfway done. And there it is. There it is. Mass Lings from Serral. Serral's going to go for a couple of really sharp attacks here. And it's going to be up to Elazer to defend and deflect. And then try to come up with his own plan.
Let's see if he makes more than that 12. It doesn't look like he's
stops.
droning.
He stops. He's back to the drones.
Yeah.
So this is not a commitment to end the game. This is to throw Elazer off and force him to defend.
He's making a few Banelings right now. His third base is on the way. He needs to be able to defend that. Oh, has to be careful. The Baneling's finishing up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just got to watch this micro very, very carefully.
Okay. 2 Banes coming up from the side. There is a Queen up there to defend. You know, the little mini game here is that you want the Queens to target down the Banes so that, because that's the one thing that the attacker doesn't have in this case is the Queens. And so the Queens target the Banes.
Yeah.
And your Banes target their Lings. Okay, so he's not going to attack. He sends this Ling to scout in. That was a really good maneuver. He comes in there and confirms, okay, are you hiding anything as you're defending this? And he sees no.
Yeah.
No, it's
And that means that Serral knows that his layer is faster, so that's definitely something. He got something out of this, but no real damage. And Elazer has actually been up in drones the entire time, so I would say that it's a pretty reasonable position for him.
Well, I guess the game just continues on. Serral's getting his own Roach Warren. They're both getting missile attacks. Serral's is slightly ahead. We'll see if that factors into anything here. You know, in mirror matchups where one side gets an upgrade before the other, sometimes if they fight right as that upgrade finishes, then it's insanely impactful. But it might not happen. We'll see.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard to tell exactly when your opponent is going to finish, so you don't want to over-push it.
Right.
Sometimes it just happens naturally, and that's great, but will that happen here? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, probably not, but, you know, most attacks... Oh, wow. Okay. As you guys can see, it's 2 Bane hits to kill drones, so... damaging those drones, but if he doesn't do anything to pursue them further, they will just heal up.
Yeah. And he brings the drone count back to even with that, so good job by Serral. Overlord speed on the way for both sides. So getting that +1 missile attacks. Layer going to be finishing up here for Elazer, and certainly Roach speed once it's done.
Okay. Here's that, the missile attack, excuse me. My mouth is getting tired. We've been casting so much here in the last 4 days. Missile attack is done. Serral now takes the 6 o'clock spot. Are we going to see this mirrored by Elazer? Is he just going to take 12? No. So they're both expanding towards the bottom right, which means we're going to have a lot of friction down here. It's kind of hard to counterattack all the way around this map, but, you know, Lings are pretty fast. That's an option as well.
And this looks a lot like the Acropolis game, right?
Yeah.
2 drop Overlords for Elazer, 1 for Serral. I didn't get to see what Serral loaded up, but I saw Elazer has 1 that has 4 Banelings in it right now. Okay, that's the one with 4 Banes. The other one, I believe, probably has 4 Banes as well. Okay, some great scouting going on. Where's the Serral drop Overlord? Okay, there goes the other one.
Okay. I don't know if this is going to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he might as well have tried. I'm not saying just drop no matter what, but I mean, this is a good idea. You can always use these for later.
Sometimes you can end up dropping them on an army and really clumped up roaches or something. Less likely to get that done, but keep trying, keep poking.
Okay. The Banes are going to come in here at this angle. Now, here it is again. Is there 2 Banes? There's 2 Banes pocketed in here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he wants to let that happen this time. Okay, lets him out.
He lets him out, yeah.
Okay, 2 drone kills. This was a solid defense from Elazer. Now Elazer doing his own drop. Some roaches coming out. Roaches don't look like they're going to get too much out of
That was so good. That was so good. That's what Elazer was looking for. Now 12 kills on the workers.
Huge moment there for Elazer, making some brilliant tactical moves. In the meantime, Serral with the counterattack on the fourth base here. Looks like he's going to pick up the queen, maybe a few drones, and he has a drop overlord that looks like it's headed for the main right now.
Couple of quick kills there. I don't know if Elazer's going to hit saw that overlord.
Oh, if he doesn't see
I
that.
actually think this might have come at an angle. Let's see if he pulls the drones. I don't see them moving.
Oh, I think you're right about that. It doesn't look like he's seen it. There's a lot of drones up here. 16, well clumped. All right, he brings out his 3 roaches, 4 roaches. So this will not be quite as explosive.
I thought
as
it was
Banelings.
Banelings.
Yeah, no, I did too.
I'm like, oh, they're roaches. Okay.
Still 7
yeah,
drones?
No, it's something. I mean, this is the part of the game we're in. You're just trying to get drone kills. Almost 2 more killed. Said 1 more. So 8 kills on the drones there. Now, if we look at the worker count, it's 65 workers for Elazer, 68 for Serral. And this keeps happening in these games where I feel like Elazer makes the good play, and then I look at the worker of the army count, and I'm like, what?
Squeezes out that 1 to 2 extra units. It's really, really impressive. Now, we have 2 different tech routes really going on right now. Elazer getting into his infestation pit as well as his Hydralisk Den, whereas Serral going into burrow and burrow movement.
Elazer's now moving out on the map. Oh, he was. I guess he's going to back up now. I think he's looking for an angle to try to come in here and attack. You know, this green stuff in the middle of the map slows army movement down, which can make it really annoying for repositioning. You kind of have to get a good position and go with it. There's not a lot of room for, a back and forth, kind of a zoning game.
At least look at this positioning right now. Oh, the biles coming out. Beautiful biles there from Elazer, to be honest.
Did Serral overextend? Elazer going to try to pounce it over here, but this angling maybe slightly better here for Serral. Serral shoves forward, Elazer backing up.
Elazer's actually the one getting really great biles off here. A ton of them connecting. A few there for Serral, though, as well.
Okay, Elazer continuing to come in here, but this arc is actually pretty good. And I think Elazer has to give up 168 supply now to a maxed out Serral.
Okay, Serral is doing a little bit of harassment in here as well. Burrow movement, roaches moving in. Of course, Elazer has got to defend against this a little bit better. Losing those drones is important. He doesn't have any real bank here.
Yeah. Elazer tried that attack. He's going to be maxed out again in a little bit here, but note the patience here from Serral. Oh, and now he's going to have these roaches submarine through that area. And Serral is attacking here because he's hoping Elazer is not going to catch on to the roaches that are actually going north. These ones right here.
Yeah, this is a great attack from Serral. He's making so many strong moves right now. Elazer could be in trouble. He's trying to tech up, but Serral is really putting on the pressure.
Okay, here come those roaches now. Immediately gunning down that queen. And from here, they probably want to go for workers. And now Serral attacks over here at this eastern base.
Some good biles going down on both sides. Still dealing with those other roaches, but Serral moving forward. He just has a few more units here. The biles going down. Great hits by Elazer, but he needs more units than this.
Okay, he continues to move through here. Now Elazer's army shoved into the corner as Serral is continuing to dominate.
Uh-oh, a lot of his Ravagers are falling. Roaches absolutely everywhere, and Serral's supply shooting up in comparison to Elazer's.
I don't know if there is a way for Elazer to recover. The damage is just too much. He has these roaches forking out in different directions, hitting different numbers of workers, and I love this about Serral. He actually backs up to regroup his main army while sending a few more roaches here to get some worker kills.
Beautifully done. He's really stretching the multitasking here of Elazer. Elazer trying his best to hold on, but his economy has been hurt. His army has been hurt. His pride has been hurt.
I can see the roach is now going to go up here towards the top. Again, Serral just too big, too fast, too strong. Elazer is remaking. He could, in theory, max out. Look at this. He's actually just following on top of the armor. He knows it's underneath him.
Oh, man. Serral doesn't miss anything.
Yeah, he had overseers there.
Except that sharp turn.
Yep. You're right.
All right, good try there from Elazer.
By the way,
he needs
guys,
to buy more time than that, though.
I think we're in the twilight of this game, but just for emphasis here, I mean, this is a sign of a really good player. He got exactly the winning advantage, but just in case he was going to overextend, he retracted the army, remade, and pushed further ahead. He knows in this best of 5, you want to be very calculated in how you play. Now, Elazer being left alone can rebuild. But we're going to have to see if Serral can set up the finishing blow.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He's down about 15 drones. He's down about 20 army supplies, so it does definitely make it very hard. Some good biles go down. Very nice biles from Elazer. But I feel like he just has to utilize his tech here. Like, can he get some great abducts? Can he use some blinding clouds to his advantage?
All right, the roaches are coming up now. Serral is going to move out now. And this is a lot of damage, but this angle actually is not terrible here for Elazer. And Elazer handling this really well, actually drives Serral up to the top.
Yeah, some of these biles hitting and hurting. Serral hitting the 4th base as well. He did bro move some roaches into the main also.
You know, it's so funny. ZBZ, sometimes you think it's the big fight that's the most important, but a lot of times it's these small number of roaches that come out and win that. So what we saw there was Serral attacking in and Elazer surviving, but again, the real story is right there in the center right. That hatchery's been killed off. It's Elazer on 3 bases to, what is it, 5 now for Serral?
Yeah, it is definitely a problem. Both sides getting adaptive talons, but the closer we get to that Viper Lurker game, the closer we get to a Serral victory. He's just so strong with that style.
He's just so good. And again, Serral pops in here, wipes out that base, and immediately vanishes with his army. Look at this. He's got roaches on either side. He's got Elazer surrounded.
Some amazing moves here from Serral. Doing a great job. Serral continuing to rotate around the map.
And as he's got Elazer boxed in, he's just making an insanely scary army. Because he knows that one way or the other, Elazer eventually has to take a fight. By the way, Elazer did max out again, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
His army can fight. There's no doubt about
absolutely,
it.
Absolutely. I thought Serral was going to push in a little bit further and try to kill in that when we had that last big engage, but let's see if Elazer can do something.
Well, Serral has an army quality advantage. So that is a big deal. Yeah, he's got a good count of lurkers, a good count of vipers here. So we're going to see what can be done. Okay, a couple of decent abducts. Oh, yeah, he actually even gets that.
Yep. But again, the hatchery's been killed off. I mean,
that's a story that never ends.
Yeah, there's a clock on Elazer, guys. He has to get another hatchery up. The 3 bases he has, 2 of them have already mined out. The 3rd one has to be drying up eventually. I'm sorry, there's a little bit left at the 2nd, but you get the idea of what I'm saying. Now, at the 12 o'clock spot, is Elazer going to try to take this too?
Oh, yeah, I mean, he should. He just has to get bases up. There's no other way. Look at this roaming army. It's so powerful. It feels like Elazer has to bring everything to fight Serral.
Yeah, it's kind of painful to watch, actually. Just Serral comes in there and shuts that down and then backs up.
Serral is just, his play is so dominating. Elazer can't leave his base.
Yeah. He's in timeout, Artosis.
Yeah, he's stuck.
Okay. Spots those lurkers. Hey, little victory there if he can kill those off. Oh, if he kills them off. The attack now from Serral is coming in. Serral trying to break this location once more. Blinding clouds coming down.
He does have those defensive lurkers, and some of his biles hit nicely, but this army of Serral is strong. It's not going to be wiped out, and
again,
he just backs up.
It's got to be more than these fights here. Again, Elazer has claimed no real estate that's new on the map.
Yeah. He's down 20 workers right now. He's down 2 bases right now.
He's trying to take that center right hatchery. Again, I've literally lost count of how many times that's been attempted to be taken.
Oh, I know.
He is going to come forward now, and he's going to try to actually press onto this center left base. And suddenly we're going to see if Serral's defense can be as good as his offense.
Okay, he's hitting these 2 locations, so let's see if he can get one done. Feel bad. He keeps abducting Vipers and then not being able to kill them.
Yeah. Well, even if he doesn't get the kill there, maybe he'll get that center right hatchery finished up here. Again, you know, Elazer, if you look at just the tab at the bottom, the minerals and the gas, look at how slowly the minerals are going up. And look at Serral. He's balling.
Yeah.
3.5K.
He has a lot of money.
He's
right
loaded.
now, and he's continuing to gain more. He's even expanded the bottom right. I didn't even know the bottom right had an expansion.
I mean, he's got so many minerals and gas, he can actually send his army on a collision course to Elazer's, have a bad exchange, and then remake it all. Okay.
Right. Well, he's coming up right now, denying another base. There's another abduct on a Viper. Oh, the Blinding Clouds momentarily save it. For too long, unfortunately.
All right, Serral's going to try to... he's going to try to come in here and hit this base. I think this might be too strong. And I'm just not sure if Elazer can hold this.
Yeah, here he comes. He's going after that fourth. The fourth base so important. Elazer just has to hold a mining expansion. I think that Serral's going in for the kill finally, but the Biles do force him to turn around.
Yeah, he's backed up. It is crazy how much that green stuff slows you down. It completely makes it almost nonsensical to fight through that, especially with Corrosive Biles being a thing in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this base is a little bit too neglected. But even if Elazer's army was here, how are you going to save this?
Yeah, it's very difficult indeed. Down he comes. Drones being pulled, and this hatchery dies for the umpteenth time.
Yep. Now he harpoons the rest of these units here. Here it comes. Now the roaches are going to get in here. They're going to start doing damage and taking out that second hatchery, and that's it. GG! Serral has done it. He is now the two-time GSL versus the world champion.
Awesomely done. Of course, Elazer put up quite a fight there, but Serral winning yet another trophy.
Guys, how we doing?
Man, we started this tournament. I was with Roddy there, just not feeling like Serral. We weren't as confident in him this time around for 2019. But boy, were we wrong. Serral just looked so good after that first round of 16 match. From series to series to series, no opponent can match this kid.
It is absolutely unreal what he is doing for the last year and a half. Like, I almost have no words for it anymore. If he had a performance peak chart, he's maxed out in every single freaking element of Starcraft 2. The boy is perfect. He really is. It is so freaking impressive. He likes winning so much. He gave us 6 games because he predicted 4 too, okay? He even wants to win the prediction game.
Wow, man. Well, congratulations to Serral. We have an interview now. Let's see how Serral's feeling now that he's won the GSL versus the world.
최고의 경기력, 완벽한 적의 모습을 보여주면서 GSL 더 월드에서 우승을 차지했습니다. 세랄 선수와 이야기를 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 증명해냈습니다. 전 세계 최고의 선수는 세랄님을 그 어떤 선수도 세랄이 이겨내지 못하고 다 무너졌어요. 최고의 자리에 오른 소감 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
You have proven it again. You're the best surf player and nobody can beat you. Any words from that?
Well, nobody can beat me. It's not necessarily so true, but yeah, very happy with this one. I haven't won anything for some time, so feels very good to win again, and it always feels just great. And thanks for all the support for everyone, and really appreciate it.
아무도 저를 이길 수 없다는 거는 사실이 아닌 것 같고요. 그래도 제가 오랜만에 대회를 이겨서 정말 기분이 좋습니다. 여태까지 응원해주신 모든 여러분께 감사 말씀드립니다.
전 세계 수많은 팬분들이 세랄 선수를 지켜보고 있습니다. 세랄 선수의 이런 모든 기록들이 역사에 남고 있어요. 기록되고 있습니다. 세랄 선수가 말하는 세랄 선수의 미래, 어떤 선수로 기억에 남기고 싶은지 한 말씀 들어보겠습니다.
All the people around the world are watching you. You are making history. Records are being made. What kind of player you'd like to be remembered as in the future?
Well, I think all of us want to be remembered as the best player, so that's what I'm going for. And I think I'm choosing at the road.
모두 다 최고의 선수로 기억에 남는 걸 원하죠. 그래서 저도 그런 걸 원하고요. 그리고 그 길을 잘 시작한 것 같습니다.
네, GSL 더 월드에서 우승을 차지하고 이제는 블리즈컨이 남아 있습니다. 이번 연도 2019년에 세랄 선수의 마지막 각오, 목표 들어보겠습니다.
So you just won the GSL versus the world, and there is a BlizzCon remaining. So what are your expectations? What is your personal objective this year?
Well, my personal objective will be the same as last year, so win the whole thing, but it's going to be very hard. It's going to be pretty stacked tournament just like this one, so I can't promise anything, but I'll try my best and hopefully I can get far again.
당연히 제 개인 목표는 블리즈컨 다시 우승하는 거고요. 그래도 약속은 못 하겠어요. 사실 너무 어렵기 때문에 잘하는 선수도 많고, 그래도 제 최선을 다하겠습니다.
네, 최선을 다하고 우승을 차지한 세랄 선수에게 뜨거운 박수를 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 그리고 자, 일레이저 선수와 이야기를 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 멋진 승부를 보여주면서 최고의 무대에서 지금 준우승을 차지하게 됐는데요. 함께 해보신 소감 말씀 들어보겠습니다.
You put up a good fight today in the finals. How was it for you to play on that stage?
I think that was really nice because I didn't play in a final in a really long time. It ruined my statistic because before that I had 100% win ratio in the finals of major tournaments. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't really expect to do much better. I actually liked the way I played after the second game. After the second game, I thought I started playing quite well, and I got 2 maps. It's not bad.
사실 제 전적에 메이저 대회에 나가서 결승에 진 적이 한 번도 없어서 그건 좀 안타깝지만 그래도 잘한 것 같습니다. 특히 2세트 후에 제 경기력을 정말 보여줄 수 있었던 것 같아서 2세트 따낸 거 만족합니다.
네, 다시 한번 최선을 다하는 모습 감사드리고요. 자, 오늘 무대가 좀 많은 분들에게는 감동의 장면으로 남아 있습니다. 자, 이렇게 2019 GSL 더 월드의 모든 경기가 지금 마무리가 되었습니다. 계속해서 펼쳐진 경기, 이 선수들의 멋진 경기, 그리고 살아있는 전설이 되고 있는 세랄 선수의 경기도 계속해서 지켜봐 주시기 부탁드리면서 이제 GSL 경기를 좀 예고를 해드리겠습니다. 8월 28일 수요일 저녁 6시 30분에 GSL 16강 경기가 펼쳐집니다. 여러분의 많은
Another
시청과
GSL versus the world. So cool. It is always a treat working with you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
What
GSL is
did you
coming
say?
up, Nick. You've got more shows.
Yes.
Sorry, that's the feedback. We have GSL coming up. That the GSL Code S is still going on, so you can join us for that. Guys, good work. This was a lot of fun. Any closing thoughts?
See you in 2020 for more GSL.
Great run by Elazer, well done, but Serral is the GOAT. He said he's on track. No, he already went past start-finish a couple times, okay?
All right, guys, we love you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. And we'll be back with the GSL Code S soon. Bye-bye.